We may all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Thank you. Okay, at this time we have a public hearing, the proposed repair reserve fund and their expenditures. Ms. Carney.
As we've done at many meetings before, we're having a public hearing this evening to talk about expenditures out of our repair reserve fund. As we say each time we do this, this is a fund that was authorized by voters in May of 2015 to fund up to $5 million in repair work at our Riverhead School District. As you know, we've been using this since we began the bond to help us to do all those things that you discover that need to be done as you're working alongside the bond. It's been very helpful in really bringing projects to fruition. We can use this, as I said, to supplement projects for the bond, and we're doing so this time with the last two buildings that we're working on, which are Roanoke and Pulaski Street School. And as we say each time, what does repair mean? It's work of a recurring nature, which is intended to restore to a satisfactory condition anything which may be decayed, deteriorated, weathered, or is broken, torn, or inoperable. And how do we access it? We bring to the board needs that we discover throughout the district. The board holds a public hearing, which we're doing now, on different projects to educate themselves and the public as to the intended repairs and the costs involved. And then the board will, later on in the agenda, vote to authorize the use of the Repair Reserve Fund. So the projects we have now, as we've done in the other buildings, all of the other buildings, high school, middle schools, and the other elementary schools, are the ceilings and lighting associated with the structures at Roanoke Avenue Elementary School. Paint at Roanoke Avenue Elementary School, and this is for all 3 floors. As you know, it's a very old building. It has many, many coats of paint on it, which is not in the greatest of shape, and we're excited to be able to do this painting so that when students arrive in September, the building's really going to look new and fresh. Also at Pulaski Street, same thing with the ceilings, the lighted, and the lighting and associated structures at the Pulaski Elementary School. And that's what we're looking to expend out of the repair reserve at this time. Any questions?
Paint that Pulaski?
We're not able to do the paint during this summer at Pulaski. We will be coming to you again for that probably in the fall.
Okay, thank you.
Any other board members? Questions? Before I close the hearing, are there any comments or questions from the members of the public at this time? No? Okay. There is an item on our agenda later this evening to authorize the expenditures we have seen explained during the public hearing. Thank you to all who have participated this evening. Seeing no additional people wishing to speak, I now therefore declare this public hearing closed at 7:13 p.m. Thank you. At this time, we have a musical performance, and I'll let Ms. Carney introduce them.
Thank you. I'd just like to introduce Mr. Jason Rodkamp. Many of you know, our high school band director. Also here is Mr. Dan Grable, who accompanies us with the piano at many of our performances. Appreciate what he does. And most importantly, we have two students here this evening, Peter Cook and Shannon McAllister, who are going to really share with you some of their accomplishments. They're incredible musicians. They both recently participated in the New York State Band Director Association Invitational Performance in Syracuse. And Mr. Rotkamp is going to say a few words about these incredible musicians and students.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Carney. I'd just like to thank the Board of Education and Central Administration for their time and your ongoing support for the music department. Because of your support, the music department and these students have been able to participate in many national, county, and statewide festivals, such as SCMEA, NISPA, and the NAFME All National as well. So I'd just like to extend my thanks, and they would as well. We really appreciate that. These students have had very profound experiences that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. So with that, to show our token of gratitude and appreciation, there will be two performances tonight. The first performance will be by clarinetist Shannon McAllister, who will be attending the University of Delaware to major in music education. And then we will be followed by trombonist and the class of 2016 valedictorian, Peter Cook, who will perform for you tonight, who will be attending Cornell to major in electrical engineering. And both of these students participated in NISPA. Shannon also participated in All-County SCMEA, and Peter was also in All-County SCMEA, and NISPA and was also part of the NAFME All-National. So, thank you, and enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Okay, Shannon, Peter, thank you so much. Mr. Grable, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, that was a real treat. You have extraordinary talent. I don't know how we're gonna follow that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, really. Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Good luck.
Yes. Okay, now we have to move on to the budget. Budget presentation and the projected tax levy and total tentative budget for 2016-17.
Okay, thank you. And just as Shannon and Peter both mentioned, the district and students are all very supportive of the Board of Education and all of their support for all of our extracurricular activities, and it really provides opportunity for our students to excel in so many areas. So at this point, we'll be presenting the budget for the 2016-17 school year. This is the agenda. We're going to talk a little about the budget goals, our academic additions, the tentative expenditures, our tentative revenues, and then some important upcoming dates. Okay, and these are the Board of Education's goals as we went through the process over the last few months to develop a budget that maintained our programs, to be sure we had adequate resources for our students and staff, and to be sure that we were being fiscally responsible to the community, also monitoring new legislation and regulations and its impact on the tax cap and budget development for the 2016-17 school year. We've been, as a member of the Legislative Committee for Suffolk County Council of School Superintendents, over the last year, one of our greatest advocacies was to eliminate the GEA, and we are very appreciative that Senator Flanagan, along with other legislators, really supported us in this, and it did afford us some additional money this year. Also wanted to identify and implement efficiencies, as we always try to do in all areas, particularly looking at alternative energies, and then also to proactively replenish our school buses that have reached their lifespan. As you know, we're looking to replace our full-size buses all the time with propane gas rather than diesel, which we found to be cleaner and also much more cost-efficient. And the tax cap, what does the law say? That revenues raised by the district through property tax or the levy can increase no more than approximately 2%, or the CPI plus exemptions. This year the CPI was 0.12%, so it was really a challenge for districts across the island. As you may have read, there are a number of districts that do have to pierce the cap, but fortunately we're not in that position. Things that are exempt from the tax calculation are capital costs and some pension costs. This year the pension costs are inapplicable due to the contribution rates. So the tax cap for 2016-17, as I said, it was 0.12%, which is the CPI, which is based on Consumer Price Index. Once exemptions are calculated for the Riverhead School District, our property tax cap is about 0.5%, which means that our overall levy will increase by no more than $483,928 from the 2015-16 levy. Okay, so this is just something to show you that we're being faced with as a district, and this is our increasing enrollment trends. And as you can see from the 2009-10 school year to this year, we're up over 400 students. Of significance for us, as we have to add staff, is the number of ELL students from 538 in 2009-10 up to 1290 today, and also the addition of many students who need special education services in the district, and you can see the significant increase in that as well. All of these needs by the district are mandated. We have mandated support services that we have to provide, so that has resulted in significant increase in staff for next year. And you can see due to enrollment, we have an additional elementary teacher, an E&L director, 4.5 English as a new language learner or ESL teachers. We have a registration teacher that's needed, which are requirements now that all students coming in have to be screened by a registered teacher. We have a science teacher at Pulaski, an additional 0.5 social worker at Roanoke, 2 additional special ed teachers, a 0.5 speech therapist, and 1 additional technology teacher. And all these positions will be finalized. We're in the process right now of hiring many positions due to retirees as well as new positions, and we are excited about the new staff that we'll be bringing into the district. So here you can see our total tentative expenditures going into 2016-17, and our general support would be up by a little over 5%, instruction and administration up by 3.89%, transportation up by 3.75%, and benefits and debt service up by 3.10%. So the total budget-to-budget increase would be 3.78%. Okay, here's our state aid, and you can see this. The increase is up 13.9%, which is why we're able to keep our levy this year between the retirement incentives, reserves, and state aid. We were able to stay within the tax levy cap. You can see our foundation aid. You can see the change of an additional a little over $83,617. Our BOCES change in our BOCES aid is up $250,468. Our high-cost excess aid is up almost $200,000. Private excess cost is down a little bit. Hardware technology is up a little over $12,000. Our software library textbooks up about $20,000. Transportation up $511,028. Our high tax aid stayed the same. And you can see the gap elimination adjustment, and that change is $643,547. So that was significant. And then you can see our building aid. We are closing 2 projects, both the middle school and the high school, later on in the agenda. You'll see change orders associated with both those buildings, and bringing those projects to a close, which will allow the state aid to flow. So you could see here the percentage increase in our additional state aid is just a little under 14%. And we have a 3-part budget that we need to present, so you see where the expenditures are in the budget, and you can see that our administrative is 8.71% of the total budget. Our program is 75.87%, and the capital related to obviously all the bond work is 15.42%. You can see the difference from 2015-16 to 2016-17 of about $5 million. And this is the total revenue budget overview. You can see here the property tax levy is at 0.5%. You can see that 13.9, which I just reviewed in our additional state aid. Appropriated fund balance and other reserves at 43%. Our pilots, our payment in lieu of taxes at 4.27%. Tuitions basically remaining the same. Reimbursements and refunds remaining the same, and interest, donations, and miscellaneous rate remaining the same. And you can see the total, as I mentioned before, is 3.78% for the budget to budget. And then we have our future presentations. April 27th, we're going to be having a budget presentation over at the Crohan Center in Flanders. May 10th is going to be the public hearing on the proposed budget. May 12th is going to be a joint PTO meeting here at the high school in the large group instruction room. We will be sending out notifications and doing some school messenger calls to make sure we invite the community. And May 17th is the budget vote, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at our local polling stations. And happy to answer questions.
Could you backtrack a little bit on the transportation that was up to 511,000? Is that due to
The buses that we
the purchase of the buses, not the increase in the student population and having to add?
Sam, it's due to...
That's the buses, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carney. At this time, we have opportunity for members of the community to address the Board of Education on agenda topics only. Yes.
Sal Mashkapolo, Calverton. Item F, personnel. Can you say a few words about Ryan Sachs? Where did he come from? What's his experience, etc.?
Absolutely. Mr. Sachs is currently an assistant director of athletics from the Eastport South Manor School District. We had an interviewing team comprised of board members, teachers, administrators who interviewed. We had about 10 candidates. We had a nice pool of candidates, and he was by far the top choice for the people on the interviewing committee.
Thank you. The next item is item E, approval of contracts. Can the board share with the public who the two middle management individuals are?
Yes, I'm happy to. We're very excited. We have Leslie Moore and Colette Fuchs. Furt. Okay. There are two people who have actually been working in the bus garage, replacing all of the duties and responsibilities of Amala Kane, who, as you know, is retiring. And we've been so pleased with their performance. They're working together as a team and really doing a phenomenal job. They've decided to create co-directors instead of just one director, given their performance to date. Very excited.
And last item, item F, approval of memorandum of agreement. Can you share with the public just some of the details about the use of certain compensatory time?
Okay. This goes back quite a few years ago. It involves 3 employees who back, as I said, what was the year? 2009-10, had an agreement that they would be compensated for putting in extra time during the school day. These are teaching assistants before and after school, and it's coming to an agreement. There are 3 people involved to settling it, letting 2 of the people have time that they could take off to make up for that, and the other person who was retired being paid the time that she was owed during that time.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Next item, consent agenda, motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. Second, Ms. Ligon. All in favor? Motion carried. At this time, I'd like to welcome Danielle Berto, Andrew Alexandrich, and Christina Modi to our district. And I know Mr. Meyer will have you sing the school song.
The school song, so opening day of this coming year, make sure you practice the school song.
He's not kidding. Welcome.
Thank you.
No old business, new business. Item A, approval of expenditures from the repair reserve fund.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer, second. Thank you, Mr. Grass. Any discussion? No? All in favor? Motion carried. Item B, adoption of the 2016-17 proposed budget and the property tax report card. Motion? Thank you, Ms. Liggins, second. Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. Item C, election of Eastern Suffolk BOCES board members. There are 6 seats open. And I'm just going to amend for Lynn. At this point, I'd like to ask for a motion to cast the district's 6 votes for members of the BOCES Board of Education as follows. For the incumbents, William Zhang of Riverhead, Lisa Israel of Greenport, Fred Langstaff of Sayville, and John Weich of Bridgeport. And for the new members, Mary Louise Cohen of Bayshore and Teresa McNamee of Conecuah. Motion? Thank you, Mr. Grass. Second, Ms. Ligon. Any discussion?
Just said Bridgeport, is that
Bridgeport.
Bridgeport.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Unless we're
Here is
taking it
Bridgeport.
again.
Bridgehampton. Yes, John Weich of Bridgehampton. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. BOCES administrative budget for the 2016-17 school year. Motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Grass. Second, Mr. Dorr. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. Approval of contracts. Motion. Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Second. Thank you, Ms. Ligon. All in favor? You want discussion? Yes. Mr. Gross.
I'm planning on voting no on this, not because I have any reservations about the people that are involved in this contract. I just feel that we have not exhausted all of our resources. We have been very selective, for example, in the hiring of a security chair and an athletic director. And we have gone back to the well several times to reopen the interview process. And I just feel that we are probably jumping the gun, I guess is a good word here, on making this decision rather than going back again to open it up.
Anyone else? All in favor? Ms. Ligon, Mr. Meyer, Mr. Dorr, and myself. And opposed, Mr. Gross. Item F, approval of memorandum of agreement. Motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Second. Mr. Gross. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. Item G. Item G, approval of EVLAR. Motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Second. Thank you, Ms. Ligon. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. Item H, approval of contract with Eastern Suffolk BOCES. Motion, thank you, Mr. Gross, second. Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. Item I, approval of cooperative bid. Motion? Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Thank you, Mr. Gross, second. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. Item J, approval of award of new contracts. Thank you, Mr. Meyer, second. Thank you, Ms. Liggett. Any discussion? Comments? All in favor? Motion carried. Item K, approval of change orders.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer, second. Thank you, Mr. Gross. Any questions, comments? No? All in favor? Motion carried. Item L, appointment of vote workers for our special district meeting on May 17th. Motion? Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Second. Mr. Gross. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. Item M, approval of Harbor Conference.
I asked this before, but this time would you specify who's going to
Yes, we have 4 teachers going, representing different levels throughout the school district, and 6 administrators, including myself, Mr. O'Hara, Ms. Picar, Ms. Rogers, and Mr. Ugelmeyer. This is part of our school improvement grant and going forward with our reviews on implementing instructional rounds. Mr. Wicks did a presentation to the board going back. We're very excited about the team we're bringing. We're actually going to be in workshops for a full week. We'll be visiting other schools as well. So we're looking forward to bringing this back to the entire community and implementing instructional rounds throughout the district come September.
Motion.
Thank you. First motion, Mr. Myers. Second, Mr. Gross. Any other questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Item N, approval of field trips. Motion? Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Second, Mr. Gross. All in favor? Motion carried. Item O, approval of acceptance of donations. We have one from Target and one from the Parents Association of Riley Avenue, and a third from the Jacob Marley Foundation for the Jerry Schultz Memorial Scholarship.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Second. Thank you, Mr. Gross. Any comments?
Thank you once again for donations.
Yes, thank you. All in favor? Motion carried. At this time, opportunity for Superintendent.
Thank you. Just to update you on some things happening and going on around the district. We're in the middle of our high school SAD Club's annual week of awareness. This is where members of the club work with their peers to educate students about the important topics such as mental illness, toxic relationships, teen pregnancy, social media, and distracted driving, texting or drinking. And as part of the program, the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office is bringing an educational component to our school aimed at teaching young drivers the consequences of driving while under the influence by having them wear glasses that simulate an alcohol-induced state. And next they have students drive a pedal car through a road bordered by cones, and each cone they hit is a life lost or injured. And I just want to say we really appreciate being able to work with a consultant coming in to really show our students the importance of paying attention when they're driving and of really taking it seriously when you get behind the wheel of the car. So I do congratulate the students in the SAD Club for the important work they're doing and bringing awareness to this, particularly as we come up into prom season and the end of the year. Just want to mention on April 12th, our students from the high school's WISE program attended their capstone event at Stony Brook University. WISE stands for Women in Science and Engineering, and it's a program designed for female students who are interested in pursuing a career in the fields of math and sciences. And each of the students group in attendance gave a presentation on a particular grade level topic. And our high school 10th and 11th grade presentation was on organic chemistry. The students separated the pigments in spinach using chromatography techniques. They made ice cream with liquid nitrogen. They learned about solvents using plastic and styrofoam, and they learned about the development of pharmaceuticals from the lab to the pharmacy. Our 12th grade students this year participated in independent STEM research. The women involved in these projects included Haley Bingham, Megan Carrick, and Brenna Latour. And these young women worked with a PhD student in social health area of psychology department at Stony Brook. And these young women are going into colleges and they're majoring, all of them, in STEM fields. So we wish them luck as they go forward pursuing their careers. I also want to congratulate the NJROTC drill team. They finished first overall in the last Area 4 regional drill meet of the year on Saturday, April 9th. We also just want to mention there were 13 schools and over 500 cadets from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware, which competed in 7 events for the overall awards. And this was the last drill meet for seniors, and they went out with style with consistently strong performances across the board. Just want to mention that the meet was the last for our NJROTC instructor, Colonel Peter McCarthy. He's retiring from the district at the end of the year. We want to congratulate him and really thank him for all his service to our students. It's an incredible program, and he's really been a big part of the program coming to what it is today. Just want to mention too that at Roanoke Avenue Elementary School we had our annual poetry jam, and this is where second graders spend time listening to, reading and writing poetry. They compare poetry to other genres. They study the conventions of poetry. They read mentor poets, and they write and memorize their own poems. And at the conclusions, parents and family members come in. And they get to share, and they do performance poetry and share it with families, and it's just really a wonderful event throughout the schools. Also just want to mention that the kindergarten students at Roanoke participated in the Teddy Bear Clinic, which was presented by Christy Ladowski. She's an injury prevention and outreach coordinator from the Trauma Center at Stony Brook University. And she worked with students just stressing the importance of buckling up whenever they get into the car, no matter how short a trip it is, and we want to thank her for coming into the district and working with our students. I just want to also congratulate our middle school students for participating in a Coins for Wishes fundraiser, and they raised over $500 for the Long Island Make-A-Wish Foundation. And also want to congratulate the winners of the Suffolk County Wrestling Coaches Association Scholar Athlete Award. That's Kerry Thomas, he wrestled at 120 pounds, Jaden Blum, who wrestled at 195, and Mitch Hobbs, who wrestled at 152 pounds. And to qualify, the wrestlers needed to be all league, and then they had to be sorted by highest grade point average. So we congratulate these scholar athletes for their efforts. This is the first time that our wrestlers have been awarded this in a long time, so we congratulate them. And just ending with some upcoming events. Tomorrow evening we have our annual Foreign Language Honor Society induction here at the high school in the auditorium. That'll be at 6:30 p.m. Then our spring concert season is going to kick off on May 5th at the middle school's new cafetorium with our middle school honors concert. I'll be updating the board on all the future spring concerts, and sure I'll be seeing many of you there. And then just ending with our second annual Run to Remember race is going to take place May 15th at 9 a.m. starting at the high school. And registration can be done online for the R2R website or at the day of the race. And kids can participate in a fun race for free. And all proceeds go to student scholarships. It was a wonderful event last year. Looking forward. We can walk run. We don't have to run the whole way. And it's a wonderful event, and looking forward to seeing you there as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carney. Opportunity for board members. Nope. Okay. Opportunity for RCFA. Opportunity for members of the community. Yes.
Sal Mastropolo, Calverton. Football, the lacrosse field, the softball field all have scoreboards. If the baseball field stays where it is there any plan to put a scoreboard up? I mean, it could be put up on the back of the football scoreboard.
It's been on there. We've actually ordered one. It's going right there on the back of the football scoreboard. It should be in any day now. It has been ordered. It was ordered a few weeks ago. As I said, we're expecting it any day.
Okay, thank you. Next is, did you and the board get an opportunity to watch Carolyn Gussoff's report on Channel 2 at 5 o'clock on Monday? Unfortunately, I couldn't watch it because I was at the JV lacrosse game, but the whole interview is up on the internet. If you didn't see the news, if you go in and you do a Google search on Carolyn Gussoff turf field, it comes up. It's about, well, I printed it, it's 4 pages long. And it mentions a lot of the schools on Long Island and the problems that they're having with turf fields. The fact that some of them, the warranty is 10 years, but the field is basically, has problems as early as 5 years. Okay, before we go forward with any kind of a turf field decision, we really should look into it, okay? It's not, turf is not what it's made out to be, okay? It's costing a lot of money to the taxpayers. I suggest you look at the article and then we can discuss it at a future meeting again. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Nope. Motion to adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Gross. Second, Mr. Meyer, and all in favor. Motion carried. Thank you. Have a good night.